video series. This is video 239 of the series where I come on every single day to talk about alignment to your own personal heart, soul, purpose in life that are always going to be in alignment with the natural laws. As I mentioned, I am Kiana Sage, and I practice something that's called energy psychology. This is really energy healing that aligns us to our soul, that's always going to be in alignment with the natural laws. I do this by using my higher sensory abilities. I am not a therapist. I am not a psychologist. I am not a psychiatrist, although I am very familiar with the dogmas and the conditioning that goes into many practices in those fields. I'm holding no judgment about them. I just know that that's not what I do. So if you are interested in energy, if you are interested in alignment, if you are interested in alignment to the natural laws, like this is a good place to be, learn, explore, and have high level, deep discussions about how to expand in consciousness. Today I want to talk about alignment to truth and how that requires us to be in alignment with our heart. And I wanted to share an experience that happened. Hi, Eric. Good morning or afternoon. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. I wanted to share an experience that happened with some friends at dinner last night, and about how when people lie to other people, they will get mad at other people for no reason. So they look for logic. And it's so interesting that people will avoid saying the truth, even if the truth is like, no, I don't want to do that, or no, I'm not in alignment with that, or no, that doesn't feel right to me. Instead, they would lie. And they'd make up things that say, oh, my wife doesn't want me to do this. Instead of saying, I don't want to do this. This doesn't feel right to me. This isn't in alignment. They don't speak their truth. And what happens when we don't speak our truth is we create greater incongruence. And you might think, well, it's a little thing, it doesn't really matter. But it's those little things that add up that really do matter. Because if you are willing to not speak the truth about the little things, what are you going to do when it comes about the big things? You know, so the pattern, and what are you going to do when you bite your tongue and you don't speak your truth and you're around people that lie all the time? What does that do to you? It sucks the life out of you. It sucks the life out of your soul. And so, you know, to be able to speak the truth requires you live in the space of your heart, because your heart is where courage resides. It's not in the mind, it's not in the intellect, it's in the heart. And when we have closed our hearts because we've been hardened, or we've been betrayed, or we've been lied to, or worse, we lie to ourselves and we sit on our life in denial, our heart gets hardened, and we have a difficult time going in and speaking truths to lies. And then we begin to believe the lies. And then before we know it, our life is a lie. Our systems are weak. We don't feel good. We have bad health. We have weak relationships that are based on lies. It's crazy. Hi, Oliver. Good to see you here. Just going to see. So I thought it was an interesting dilemma to listen to some of our friends share that they didn't think it was a lie. So I'm going to give you an instance of something that, you know, when people ask you, you know, what do you think? So I had somebody ask me, what do I think of this person? It was another friend's husband. And I said, I don't think, I don't have any thoughts about him. And the person was a little bit shocked that I said I don't think. I really do not sit there and think about other people and what they do unless I'm trying to figure out how how am I interpreting my experience with them? Then I might share that. But they didn't ask me my experience. They didn't ask me what how I felt about something. They asked me what I thought. And I really try not to think about other people and what they are doing with other people and assign judgments to them. I really try to see, what is this person reflecting to me? So when I heard my friends talking about other people in not favorable ways, I thought, I'm, I'm not going to be sharing too much of myself with these people, like being vulnerable. I'll share, I share more with you all than I do with some of my friends. And that is the truth. Because I feel like if one person watches one of my videos and takes one thing out of it and goes deeper into their heart, it was worth everything. If I'm talking to a friend that's really not open and they don't want to hear what I have to say, I'm not going to say it. But don't ask me what I think about other people and judge them. That's not what I do. That's not how I am. That's not how I think. And I think, I don't think about things like that. I think about, what is this person reflecting to me? What do I need to learn? What is my truth in relationship to how I feel when I'm around these people? So I think that's an interesting, different way to look at the truth, because what I noticed is a lot of people are really comfortable talking about other people and what they think about other people. But really, what they think about other people is always going to be a reflection of themselves. So anyway, so I thought I would share that with you and think, what do you think is required to be in alignment with your heart? Do you think that you can tell the truth and be in connection with your heart? I think the truth is all coming from the heart. That's what I think. It never doesn't come from your head. That's why when people say on here in the chat, hey, what do you think about the science? I don't really think about other people's opinions about data. That's what science is. It's data driven, and then you interpret the data. I would see the data and then I will decide what feels right for me. And I encourage other people to do the same for themselves. Now, how might you take this truth topic and apply it to corporate work or to your work situation? How many people at work are in alignment with the truth, speaking from their hearts? I'm still drinking my coffee. Eric, what do you think about the truth? Oliver, what do you think about the truth? What about speaking the truth to family? How many of you are willing to do that? Talk about courage. Talk about courage. Talk about the strength of the heart is to be in your truth with family. How many people lie to stay comfortable? How many people lie to commiserate with those that are around them that are not in alignment? Tons, hundreds of millions of people lie to stay in connection with family that will lie, cheat, and manipulate them. It takes a lot of courage to be in the truth, a lot of courage. All right. I do not know why you think I look like Celine Dion. She's like super skinny. Is it the nose? I don't get it. I don't eat Burger King. Hi, Brother B. Good to see you here. I'm so glad that what I'm saying resonates with you. Hello, India. No, cute. I'm not going to Burger King. Bina, I'm glad that you're here, Bina. Thank you for being here. I am on my patio. How do I deal with fear of missing out in the world where everyone seems to be doing something exciting? Any tips for focusing on your own journey without getting distracted by what others are doing? Sarab, wow, what a great question. First of all, fears are an invitation to go within. False evidence appearing real. I know you've heard that, but really, fears are not real. They're coming from your mind, they're coming from your thoughts, and your thoughts can create reality. So I would challenge your fears. So I started doing this when I was 16. And if I had something that was really scary to me, like at 16, I remember I saw a cute boy and I wanted to go on a date and with him. And I thought, I'm just gonna leave. This is before it was popular for women to do what they do now. Now I think women do a little bit too much, but I decided I was going to do that, and I left him my phone number, and he called, and we went out, and it turns out I didn't like him. So that was a big lesson in what you think you will like, you won't like. But what was more important to me was to face my fear about approaching somebody that I was interested in, something that I wanted. And how has that translated throughout my life? Contracts that I wanted, I went and asked for them. People I wanted to work with, I went and talked to them. You know, it's so important to face your fears. I remember when I was working with this government agency, and there was one department that was just the hardest department. They didn't like anybody. They didn't like outsiders. And here I was, a consultant, and they were also the most dysfunctional. But I went to the head of the department. I said, hey, this is what I think I could do for you. This is how I think I can help. These are what the issues are. If you don't fix these issues, this is what's going to continue to happen. So do you have a strategy? And I just made a presentation, and they went for it. And so I was employed with them for 3 years, and nobody had been able to crack the code to go in and do something functional for this dysfunctional department. And I did that because I faced my fear. Now, did I learn a lot from that? Yes, absolutely. Would I do it again? No. No. I would say it was a sign that nobody was going into that department because their dysfunction was so strong. But, I always loved a challenge. So I think it's really about focusing on like overcoming your fears. So it's easier to overcome your fears when you're in connection with your heart, because your heart is going to pump. You're going to get a little adrenaline. You're going to get nervous. You're going to get excited. And that's like being alive. So you won't be afraid of missing out if you're really alive within. So I hope that answers that question. And then any tips for focusing on your own journey without getting distracted about what others are doing? I have a million tips on this, but let me see. The first one I would say would be most helpful is to every single day before you go to sleep, write down what you learned. Write down what you learned, what situations challenge. You don't have to write down like the challenge, but make it a point of like, what were the things that were difficult of the day, and then what did you learn from that? What did you do that was different that helped you approach it? And write those things down. So write what you learned down. Because if you're not learning, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're not going to evolve. And if you are here on this earth, you're supposed to evolve. And there's a lot of people that are in consciousness stasis. This is where they think they are one way, but they're not. So they think they have an open heart, but they are closed. They think they are open and adventurous, but they're not. They think they have an open mind, but they don't. And their words and their actions are not in alignment. So the second thing is making sure that you are who you say you are. You do what you say you're going to do. Sorry, my dog wants to come outside, so I'm going to go get her. So that would be tip number 2. Honor your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you can't do it, then say you can't do it. If you changed your mind, say you changed your mind, but always honor your word. And that comes from the 4 agreements, right? Like, so if you really want to change and grow, don't go read the book of the 4 agreements, go practice the 4 agreements. Spend four weeks or 2 weeks on each tenet of 4 practices and like master those tenets. Honoring your word is huge. When you go into an organization, when I go into an organization and I'm consulting, the biggest issue is trust. Why don't they trust? Because they don't even trust themselves. Why don't they trust themselves? Because they're incongruent. They are lying to themselves. They're in denial. They're in avoidance and they don't even know it. So you don't want that to be you. So let's see. Any questions? My glasses are so dirty. Sorry if you can see how dirty they are. But I can see the spelling. I can read. Smart and hell. Thank you, Andrew, I think. Oliver, everybody has their own truth. Well, Oliver is saying everybody has their own truth. Everybody has their own perceptions of the truth. But the real truth will only be known through the heart. So how many people are getting stuck in their head about what the truth is? They don't listen to their heart. They don't know what their heart is saying because they're too busy listening to the science. They're too busy listening to people telling lies. And so they've gotten disconnected from their heart. So any political things in the chat, I won't be answering. Breaking Bad. I love that show. I love that show. Andrew Meyer, what do you mean? How many people are in my family? How many people do I talk to in my family? I mean, are you talking about me and my husband? Or are you talking about my family like that I grew up in? Both my parents have passed away. They both died young. In fact, the anniversary of my mother passing is tomorrow. So tomorrow's live, I might be talking about the lessons I've learned. I haven't quite decided. But my mother's transition was probably one of the biggest life, besides getting married, for sure, life changes that I've had. I'd say being married to the most amazing husband in the world has also been one of the biggest lessons of my life. Thank God. Yeah, all the highs and the lows, I learned the most from him. And then my mother, I learned a lot. Thank you, Andrew. Just seeing if there's any questions. Hello, Pakistan. Yes, Eric. Telling the truth in your family, they will get mad. Yeah, they will get mad. And why is that? Why is the truth in families cause anger, negativity, discord? Why is that? Why is the truth avoided in families? Why? Why is it not safe to be in your heart with your family? Why? It's a dilemma a lot of people face because if you honor your truth about who you are and your family is what they say they are, like if they say they love you, then love is acceptance, right? And let's look at what love is. What is love? And if your family is, this goes back to honoring your word. Like, are people honoring their word if they are saying one thing and doing another? Isn't that telling you about the character of the people in your family? Isn't that telling you the character of people at your work? Don't you want to know who you're contending with? You must. You must know, because you must walk the path of honoring yourself. And even if that means that you're telling the truth to yourself, because the one thing you don't want to do is go into denial of yourself. And that's what causes consciousness stasis, which means you're not growing consciously. You might be growing intellectually, but you're not accessing higher levels of consciousness. And don't you want to have higher levels of consciousness, like expanded ease, love, joy, blessings, fluidity, synchronicity? That all comes from higher levels of consciousness. That doesn't come from intellectual thoughts. Andrew is saying false expectations appear real, right? I thought it was false experiences appearing real. I don't know. It could be false expectations. Either way, I have my own process of addressing fears that I use with my clients energetically to help shift and move the fears so people can be more easily in their thoughts. Not their thoughts, in their hearts. But I think if you notice that you allow your decisions to be made out of space of fear or from an emotional roller coaster, what I would suggest is that you develop a practice of facing your fears. Like, what are you going to do to face them? Like, and so, that's a good practice to have on a regular basis that reminds you all the time that these things that you think are not real and they're not true. And that goes back to thinking truths. Truth is not a thought, it's a frequency. Truth is an alignment. Truth is in the heart. It doesn't come from the mind. You can make critical thoughts, use critical thinking to discern the truth about what people are saying. But most of the people that we're exposed to are incongruent, meaning they are not in alignment. So what truths are you going to get from people that are chronically misaligned? Lies. And I can actually feel incongruence in text messages and I used to have a lot of clients that used to, until I said this, I used to have a lot of clients that used to say love and light, and they weren't sending me love and light. They weren't sending me love, and they certainly weren't sending me light, but they were writing the words. So they were totally incongruent with what they were saying. Did they want to send love and light? Maybe, but you don't send love and light from your head. Love and light is a frequency, and all frequencies go through light. So, I could feel that. And if you're sensitive, you will feel when people are incongruent. That just happens to be one of my gifts. Now, to know that and feel people being incongruent in what they're saying and what they're speaking and what they're showing you, I just accept them for who they are. I don't have to like how they behave or what they say. That's judgment. I just am mindful, like I said, I wouldn't be telling the people that were in judgment of these other people my truths. I'd rather speak it to the internet where you guys, maybe one person can watch what I'm saying and learn like, oh, okay, the truth comes from my heart. So am I speaking from my heart when I'm talking to my friends? Am I speaking from my heart when I'm talking to my family? Am I speaking from my heart when I'm talking poorly about other people? Like, ask yourself those questions. That could be what you say at the end of the day too. Somebody's asking if I'm a realtor. What kind of consultant am I? I do what is called energy psychology, and I also do consulting for organizations that are looking to have better results. Let's see. Happy birthday. Let's see. Tiger, how are you? I'm having a good day every day. Andrew, what do you mean by safe words here? I don't understand. Andrew is saying, so be by myself. No, Andrew, the truth does not need to be spoken to other people. It's about you being in alignment to the truth within you. So, for example, last night at dinner, when these people were saying these things, I didn't tell them that what they were saying was bad or good or, I was just seeing them for what they were saying. And then, of course, I wouldn't want them to say things like that about me, although I obviously have no control over what people say about me. But I certainly was aware that, these are people that are making judgments on other people based on their inability to be in alignment with their own personal truth and say the truth for themselves. So they didn't like what somebody was doing because that somebody was doing something because they didn't say their truth and they didn't hold a boundary or that whatever. But I didn't say, and I'm not by myself, but I think it's interesting that people align being in the frequency of truth with being by yourself. And what are you really, so you have people around you that aren't really connected. So what is that really doing for you? Does that make you happy? Does it make you feel heard, to be seen? Like, I think that's a really good question, Andrew. Like, I would rather, I enjoy my own company. So I spend time by myself and I have no problem with it. I entertain myself very easily. And so I can be in communion, I can learn from others, and I see what they do, and I see, well, how is this reflecting me right now? Is there something I need to learn from this situation? And there was something I needed to learn. Number one, like, don't tell personal things to these people. That's what I learned. I was reminded. Tell it to the YouTube. Book of Five Rings. I don't know what that is. I believe, somebody's asking me, do I believe in Jesus? I believe in Christ consciousness 100%. Andrew is saying he wouldn't avoid me. Some people don't like people who see them, Andrew. Have I been writing a book? No. The reason, so I have written a lot and I have worked with some, this is before COVID, this is going back probably 15 years. I was working with a publishing house about writing a book specifically around leadership. And what I didn't like, it wasn't congruent with me. I didn't like the approach. I didn't like how the marketing was done. It felt very fake and false. And I didn't want to participate in it anymore. It wasn't worth it for me. Andrew. Oh, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate your compliment. I look very confident. How does confidence appear? Tell me that. Harsh. Have you seen the El Camino? I have not walked the El Camino. I read a book on the El Camino, but no, I have not. Oh, I look very smart. What does smart look like? Is it the glasses? How do you tell someone that what they are doing is wrong without being rude? Country Strong is asking a very good question. Number one, Country Strong is I would not tell somebody they're doing something wrong unless they impinged on my my boundaries, my personal space, unless they were forcing themselves on me. So if that makes sense. So then I would state it. Otherwise, I would ask somebody if it was a friend and I was seeing something that was unsupportive for their own well-being, I would ask them if they would be interested in hearing my perspective about what they were doing, for example. So that's something that happened this last week. I have a lot of communication on an app where you do videos back and forth. And I had a friend that was doing something, and I shared my story that I posted earlier this week about the gyms, which was really about how things are masked. So things can look really clean, but the environment is very dirty. So this was happening, and I mentioned it to her because she was suggesting that she wasn't as motivated to go to this particular gym and do these particular workouts, and everything that she had assigned to it was based on how she was in the past. And I just said, I just made a suggestion. It's like, perhaps it's not what you think it is. And there is something going on in the environment that you can't see, but you are feeling and sensing. So maybe you could look into that. And she thought about it for a couple of days. I think she got back to me like 24 hours later and said, I have noticed a lot of people are sick in my work environment, and that might have something to do with the environment, because it's like one person goes down after another. Maybe there's something going on in the environment. So I asked people if they want to hear. The people last night, they definitely didn't want to hear, and I didn't offer. They wanted to know what I think, but I don't talk about that. How to deal with toxic parents? Well, I think being a master observer is really important. To observe without judgment is the key. So just see people for who they are, and to the best of your ability, not judge them, and to see them clearly for who they are and accept them. And then once you become a master observer in non-judgment, which also means non-attachment, and you've accepted, then you will have the space and clarity to determine, are these people that I want to spend a lot of time around? Which can be a challenging thing. I love my mother tremendously, but I couldn't spend more than 3 days around her. Back when I was in my full ego. I wish I wish my mother was alive today, where I'm more balanced in my heart. But I also have her to thank for that, for me getting to where I am today. So, you can't go back. But I think judging people as toxic doesn't really help the situation. There are some people that are so demonic. It's beyond toxic. And they do really hateful, hurtful things to other people. Why would you spend time? I don't care who they are. Why would you spend time with that? Why? They're just going to suck the life out of you. That's not love. So what are you doing? I don't know if that's helpful for you about your toxic parents, but that's my perception. What are my thoughts on guilt? King fail. I don't have a lot of thoughts on, King go fall. What are your thoughts on guilt? Well, guilt is an emotion. So I would suggest feeling your emotions. There are thoughts that go along with guilt. They usually come in clusters, but the clusters will settle once you have felt your feelings. So, what is the undertone of guilt? Feel that. So, all emotions are looking for is to be felt. They're not looking to be intellectualized. They're not looking to be judged. They're not looking to be understood. They're not looking to be assigned a meaning. They're all looking to be felt. So, those are my thoughts about guilt, since you asked. I appreciate your insights and wanted to share that in India, we also value and engage deeply with such intellectual discussions. It's great. Thank you. It's great to see the exchange of ideas and perspectives from around the world. Yes, thank you. And thank you for being here. I think it's super important to have deep conversations. Peter, hello. Andrew is saying, fear of losing my wife to her pronouns. Peter saying, why do I teach? I'm on here because I wanted to share simple techniques that people can do to be aligned, to align to themselves and within. I wanted to share how people can align to the natural laws in a simple format. I also want to learn about this thing called YouTube and social media and how this exchange of this medium works. And also, yeah, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing here. I was guided to do these this year. I've never done this many videos ever in my life. You know, not everybody likes what I have to say, and that's interesting, and I appreciate that. And not everybody appreciates how I look, and I'm really surprised. I've learned a lot from doing these lives, actually. Andrew. Andrew is saying she talks in pronouns and she is my him wife protector. Spectrums of pronouns. I would say that there is a lot of mind control and brainwashing going on with this identification and how people are feeling they need to identify themselves with things. And to me, that's a sign that they've lost their way away from their heart, because in their heart, it's not about identification with things such as labels, you know? I don't know if that helps you, Andrew. Emily, the secrets of the universe. I'm glad that you like what I'm saying, Emily. Thank you for being here. I love you, Kiana. God loves us all. Eric, yes, I agree. Thank you for being here, as always, my friend. Antonio saying, lady invited me to eat with them on a work break and looked at explicit pictures of a man in front of me. Weird. I am 20 and she's 24. We work in the same area at work. I would say that is strange, Antonio. I wouldn't even know how to interpret that. I would have asked her, what are you doing? Like, did you invite me? What do you, I would have asked. If that were me, I probably would have got up and walked away, but I would have asked, like, what are you doing? Like, what is that about? And that's strange. Antonio, I would agree. But I wouldn't go to lunch with them again. That's what I would learn. That's not like the kind of lunch I would want to have. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. Yay. Emily, I feel safe here. Emily, I'm so glad. You're welcome to be here. Andrew, I don't know what question you're asking here. Stupid Vic fan. Psychology. I don't respect your science. It's below geology. Okay, keep it moving, stupid Vic fan. I think your name says a lot about your perspectives. Emily, I have autism and ADHD, and your voice makes me feel safe. I don't know, but keep doing this. It's calming me. Well, that's good to hear, Emily. And I would say that you are more than any diagnosis. You are amazing, and you are welcome to be here. I'm speaking from my heart. I'm speaking, and so hopefully that is what you're sensing and feeling. Andrew, how do you know it's Andrew? I don't know what your questions are. Michelle, any questions here? We're talking about aligning to the truth. The principle you say about God within yourself matches with the principle of Hinduism. Okay. The natural laws of God, right? That's what the natural laws are. They're all aligned to how the universe actually operates, not, and that's how energy operates. That's not misinterpreted, misguided hierarchy of man-made. No, we are much more powerful than we have ever been told. Okay. I, this Celine Dion thing, that must be some kind of chat code because I honestly do not understand it. And I'm not a Celine Dion fan, so I'm not saying she's bad, but she's not really my kind of person. Hi, Rosa. Yay, Rosa, you're here. Good to see you. I'm just looking for questions about um, aligning to truth. No, I do not have a friends only page. Um, Zoink is asking, how would you define energy in relationship to consciousness? Um, so everything is energy, and everything has a frequency. Consciousness is the access to higher levels and frequencies of information and alignment. So that's the simplest term. So some people get locked in to a lower frequency of consciousness because they are spending so much time in their mind. However, when you are in deep connection to your heart is a portal, and you can connect to higher levels of access and expansion to higher frequencies. This means that your body will change, your mind will change, your experience of life will change. I hope that helps. Eric, I love you as a person. I enjoy your video. And I'm nice looking too, Kiana. Oh, well, thank you, Eric. Andrew, I don't do diagnosis. Goretta is saying, this is my first time on the channel. Your channel feels very safe and calming. All right. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate your comments. Nolan, good to see you. See you later, Andrew. Eric, Ervik, how to come out of a cycle of things I know are not working as I expect them to, but I can't always get as I invested a good amount of time. Well, why keep investing in something that's not working? Why would you keep investing in something that is not reaping what it should? Sometimes, Ervik, what is needed to shift a pattern is a shift in your perception. So it doesn't need to always change the pattern. It's how can you see this differently? How can you experience this differently? How can I be doing what I'm doing differently? And if those things don't change it, then maybe something in the pattern absolutely needs to be changed. IT helper, black magic exists in your opinion on that? Black magic is everywhere. Yes, it exists. There are a lot. That's really how I got into what I'm doing, is because I didn't know the people around me what they were doing. I didn't understand it, what they were doing energetically was not of the light, if you will. And so there's a lot of sorcerers out there that do things that are nefarious and go against the natural laws, which is why it's so important to be in alignment with the natural laws. Because when you're in alignment with the natural laws, you won't fall victim to brainwashing, mind control, manipulation, hateful, demonic energies. And there are a lot of what are called religious spaces that are cloaks for demonic energies. So, yeah, those things exist, unfortunately. Rosa, good to see you. When you are true to yourself, you are in alignment with the truth. When you can't be yourself, you are not aligned with the truth, and you get psychological issues and lack of self-confidence. There's a lot of truth to what you're saying there, Rosa. A lot of truth. I think if the truth is always going to be in alignment to the heart, and somebody else's truth, I think Oliver said this earlier, somebody else's truth might be different than your truth, especially when you're into intellectual discussion with somebody. Yeah, especially now more than ever, people are always talking about the science, the science, the science. I think if you're looking at mainstream media, you're seeing that they lie. IT helper saying, if there is a demonic power, there will be a God. I don't know what you're saying there, IT helper, but I think, people have different ideas of what God is depending on their experiences, how they were raised, how they were in the church, not in the church, what religion, what their parents thought or believed. And there's a lot of anti-Christ energies out there. So people have been misguided on the true energy of Christ. So I know, at least for me, I was raised Catholic. I was always gone to Catholic church. I liked the rules of Catholicism. It made me feel safe. However, I also noticed that they used words, when people said certain words, I didn't like how it felt, because the energy behind the word had been manipulated. So as a little girl, I didn't understand what manipulation was. I could feel it though. And I remember after I went to there was three main things that happened in the Catholic Church, and I think you get confirmed, and then you confess your sins. You do all these things, but either way, I noticed that I had a fever at every single one of them, and then I decided it wasn't for me. And then you have to go and unlearn things, you know. Country Strong, thank you so much. I love having this insight on how people feel and think. It makes me understand how to process emotions better. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Country Song. Yeah, also understanding how they may be feeling. Feelings are shared. Oftentimes, you know, everybody has different feelings depending on what they're experiencing. Like, you know, there are some people that have been traumatized so intensely that they have feelings that haven't been processed, but they get triggered, and they can't manage their emotions because they haven't processed them. So processing emotions is really how we heal. What are some of the common obstacles that people face when trying to align with their truth? How can they effectively overcome these challenges? I think that's a good question, Sarab. What are some of the common obstacle people? The biggest obstacle people face is people pleasing, trying to please other people, and overthinking and intellectualizing. I'd say those are the top three things that keep people from aligning to the truth. So they are thinking about things instead of feeling about things. And when they're feeling about things, saying like they feel bad, they're assigning their feeling bad to somebody else other than their own experience, and that they need to process it. They're like giving meaning to their experience and their feelings rather than just observing and experiencing them. I hope that helps. Rosa, how to align with the truth when you don't even know what the truth really is. Rosa, you're the best. I just want to say you align to the truth when you are in your heart. The truth is not what you think it is. So just continuously align to the truth, experience, non-attachment, non-judgment, find yourself in neutrality, and then you'll feel the frequency of the truth, which is different than what you think the truth is. Eric is saying, Kiana, are you a healthy person? I hope you are. Well, Eric, if you have watched my video about the secret illness, you'll see that I've had my health struggles for sure. And when I thought I was eating healthy, I wasn't really eating healthy at all. And so I think I am healthy now. I'm healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I work every day to stay in balance and learn. IT. I'm not looking for science to be behind anything. So, IT helper, why are you looking for science to prove something to you? Ervik is saying, a destructive truth is worse than no truth at all. Lies, people believe lies all the time. Zonk is saying, I am of the persuasion that we are energetic beings residing in the body. Once the body ceases to exist, our energy simply transmits into a new receptacle. Zonka, I don't believe that. I think we go back into oneness. I don't think we go into a new receptacle. I don't think we always go back into the body unless you've been captured and your soul is getting repeatedly sent down. So that is another video, which I don't think I'm going to record. If you are rejected, it doesn't mean you are bad. Sometimes people are unable to see the star in you. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like what I have to say, don't like what I do, don't like what I think, don't like my perspective. You know, when I used to go to the East Coast, they used to call me a California girl, and I was called all kinds of names. You know, people do what they do. I'm not attached to what people say or think about me. Do I have a gun? Uh, no, I don't have a gun. Sharon is saying she's a Christian and she loves it. Well, good for you. I hope I hope that serves you well. If you aren't willing to risk the usual, you have to settle for ordinary. Yeah, or ordinary, like people die. People literally die settling because they don't challenge new things. I studied about musicians that more you become dirty with respect to hygiene. And IT helper, I actually thought about coming on here today and talking about energetic hygiene. Um, it's not about musician. I think what you're saying about being doing magic is really an archetype that most people don't really understand and they're fearful of, but they don't understand. Not all energy has to do with magic, first of all. And I think that's how people get turned off from understanding how the field of energy really works. That we have a consciousness, and if we don't claim our consciousness, if we don't claim our energy, there are other beings that will steal it. And that's a problem. Rosa, so feeling is more important than knowing. I think when you feel, Rosa, then you have a better sense of alignment to knowing. But if you have, like, let's just say unhealed wounds, if you have unhealed trauma, those will shift and distort your knowingness, your sense within. So you really want to address that as well as the ego mind. Saurabh is going, thank you for being here. It's been a great discussion. I hope to see you soon. Thank you. Thank you for the conversation and your participation. So I don't see a question here, Akash. There are many connections between black magic and religion, yes. But most people do not want to look at that. Correct. The prosecution of black magic by Christianity. Um, I think that's a rabbit hole I'm not going to go down. Hari, is marriage necessary for everybody? Everybody has their own unique soul journey. You have to decide that for yourself. All right, y'all. It's been about an hour on here. I am Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. I use a method called energy psychology, and everything that I do I work to be fully in alignment with the natural laws to the best of my ability, and I speak my truth from the heart. And if I make a mistake, I try to own it. And so, if you want to be in alignment, what I would suggest always doing is making sure that you speak from your heart. And when you speak from your heart, you will open your world up to a place of alignment. You will open your mind to seeing more clearly. And you can't be in denial and be in the heart. But you can be in the mind thinking you're in the heart, and that will be a denial. So you really want to ascertain which one you're in, and you want to be in alignment with your heart. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a nice day, and I will talk to you soon. See you tomorrow for more Being in Sync.